Hey everyone, welcome back. The last time that I shared about our journey from Kansas City to Albuquerque, I told about part one where we ride in the Amtrak train to get to Albuquerque, and now it's going to be time for part two of our adventure. And this adventure has been on my bucket list for a very long time, and that adventure is a balloon ride, and we get to do that right here in Albuquerque. So come along with us as we float into the skies and we take in some of those breathtaking sunrise views.
Yes, there's 550 balloons that launch from a field right up there. You can see the white tents kind of right at the end of the trees over there, towards the mountain, the end of the mountains. That's the Balloon Fiesta field. 550 balloons will launch from there. That's not including the 100 or so that are going to be out here flying. Some people don't go to the event, but they want to come out and fly in the area, so they'll fly on the west side.
Hi guys! So I just got off of this. The balloon is down. It was so much fun. I had a great time. It's been on my bucket list to go on a hot air balloon ride. And so we did the sunrise section where we got to just see some of the sun come up over the mountains. The mountains are behind me. You can see some of them. It was interesting because we were 1,300 feet high up above the ground, and if you're used to hot air balloons and what have you, then this information is probably not new to you, but I learned a lot of stuff about hot air balloons and how they use the wind, and they watch the wind every hour, and then there's like no designated place to land, and so we ended up landing in this just open field kind of a thing. There's some rocks behind me, and one of the vans got stuck, so we're out here just trying to help put things away for them and what have you. But it was super fun, and I am so glad that I did it. When I found out that Albuquerque was the hot air balloon capital of the world, and they have this big hot air balloon festival in October, I'm thinking surely there's a way to do a hot air balloon ride before the festival. So we got to do one, and it was so fun. Was it a little scary? There were parts of it that made me a little bit nervous and anxious, but for the most part, I was not at all. It was so fun. So can you do a hot air balloon ride in Kansas City? The answer is yes. You can have a hot air balloon experience in Kansas City. In fact, I have a friend who is a pilot, and I didn't even know this. So if you want to do a hot air balloon ride in Kansas City, be sure and let me know, because I can get you connected to my friend who does hot air balloon rides in Kansas City. The hot air balloon ride that we went on in Albuquerque was absolutely fantastic. We rode over the Rio Grande, we rode over downtown, we rode over some areas that had some mansions. We could see the mountains in the back, and it was just amazing. I learned about wind and how the wind actually affects it, and also he was saying how the hot air balloons during the festival get right up to each other, so it was pretty fascinating to hear a lot of the things. Would I go again? absolutely. I'm hoping to maybe go someday in Kansas City. So anyway, that was the first thing that we did. After we finished with that, we had this adventure at the Petroglyph National Monument. It is where a lot of the Native American Indians carved all kinds of pictures and messages and all kinds of stuff into the rocks. There's thousands of these. So if you're wanting a hiking adventure in Kansas City, can you get that? Absolutely. Can you get this type of hiking adventure? I don't think so. But we went to this monument and had a great time. We only went on one of the trails. There's actually 3 different big sections. We only went on one of those sections, and we didn't even finish that full section. It was getting kind of hot, and I don't think we were as hydrated as what we had anticipated and hoped to be, but we had a good time about seeing some of those pictures, and it was pretty fascinating just to understand a little bit of the history of that. So absolutely, you can get some hiking adventures and historical extravaganzas in Kansas City. So after we did that, we did another exciting thing. So my husband planned a fine dining experience, and that fine dining experience was going to a place called Vernon's Speakeasy. So let me just tell you, there are speakeasies as well in Kansas City. Now, I have never been to one. One of the reasons why I had not ever been to one is because I had the perception that speakeasies were mainly focused on a bar experience with all kinds of alcohol and kind of an experience of focusing on that versus a fine dining lounge experience. So I've always been kind of just swaying away from a speakeasy experience because of that very reason. I thought that the focus was alcoholic beverages and drinking or whatever. So it was funny when I found out that my husband set a reservation for a speakeasy. I had to chuckle because of my perception. So I asked him, I was like, do you even know what a speakeasy is? And he was like, no, I just thought that that was the name of the restaurant, Vernon's Speakeasy. So I explained to him all of that, and we definitely still wanted to go. And the reason why I say all that is because Nathan and I are not drinkers. We have decided in our marriage that we are not going to drink alcohol. We don't even really cook with alcohol. There might be some alcohol in things that we go out and eat that are fine. But we've chosen to not have alcohol in our home and not raise our kids around alcohol. We have a spiritual conviction about that, and so therefore we've just not ever focused on that, which is why a lot of times you will see me talk about places that you can go and party. It's just not something that we go to. Well, anyway, we went to this speakeasy, and I'm telling you what, I had the best time. It was so cool. The fine dining experience was amazing. If any of you know about speakeasies, it's kind of modeling the 1920 era, somewhere around in there. And speakeasies were a secret place where people could go, and you had to have a code or a passcode to get into this speakeasy. And I guess the reason why they call it speakeasy is because you had to speak easy so that the person on the other side could understand what you were saying and the code that you were transferring over to make sure that you could get in, like the secret passcode or whatever. So they did that. We show up, they had texted us the code to get in, and it was just a full experience from the moment that we knocked on the door until the moment that we left. We knocked on the door, somebody came through a little look through thing and talked to us kind of about that era. They were dressed like that era, and it was such a fine dining experience that I will never forget. It was so fantastic. The food was amazing. In fact, they have this VIP club, and there are some people that you know, including Johnny Depp, who's a member of this particular Speakeasy VIP club. We actually got a tour of the area that the VIPs sit, and it was just a fantastic experience. And we were able to speak to the owner. He came over and talked to our table probably 5 or 6 times. So I would encourage you to check out the Kansas City speakeasies, which is something that I'm going to do when I return, and learn about the speakeasies in Kansas City. I know that there's one in Lee Summit, there's one downtown in one of the hotels downtown, and a couple of other places. I think there's about 10
if not more, speakeasies in Kansas City. So I'm excited to learn more about that era and to have some other speakeasy dining experiences without the alcohol. I did have a little Virgin sugar-free drink, but I don't even remember what it was called, but it was so good. Anyway, after that, we had a fun time of going downtown to Old Town Albuquerque and just walked around a little bit, saw some old cars and things like that. And it was just the perfect ending to a really great, fantastic day. And that's where day one was.
Thanks again for joining on my adventure to Albuquerque with my husband. There's another video to come, so make sure that you stick around for part 3. And until then, take care, and I'll see you on the next one.